which athletes live the longest. So I heard about this study a few weeks back and I wanted to check it out on which athletes live the longest. So it intrigued me. So I went to the internet, downloaded this study, and I'll put this in the notes too so you can read it as well. But Altulia and his team in 2024 went to a public source data and gathered data from about 95,000 athletes over 183 countries and across 44 sports between 1862 and 2002. And what they compiled was their longevity, or how long they lived, and they tried to put that together collectively to see which athletes lived the longest. And they did have some good and surprising findings. Now, not so surprising were the athletes that did not live the longest. So what you might think, the sports like boxing, gridiron football, which is our American football. And the one that did shock me, though, was volleyball players were pretty low as well. So we'll talk about what the attributes are to the kind of why people live longer or shorter. Now, the ones that kind of shocked me were the athletes that lived the longest. The longest one was pole vaulters, number one. And not too far behind it, gymnastics. Now, these athletes tend to live about 8 years longer than most athletes. So what they kind of extrapolated out of this data, then they had to kind of guess why these results came to be. Now, you have to speculate a little bit. Obviously, all they're taking is when they were born and when they died. So they don't have any other data as to, the types of training or what they ate or what their size were, or anything like that. Also, too, they took mostly males. It was about 95% males. I don't know if it's because they needed at least 100 records per 44 sports to count it as data, and they just didn't have enough on the females. So this is a little bit male dominated. But what they extrapolated out was the sports that had the lowest correlation to longevity were impact sports. So like I said, boxing, gridiron football. Now, just taking the trauma, the body being hit repeatedly, the physicality of it, those were factors on maybe why athletes live a little bit less than others. Volleyball was in there too. They didn't have a great explanation. They said, obviously volleyball is a very physical sport. They said probably the impact on that as well. What they didn't mention, and they touched upon it a little bit with the sumo wrestlers, is they were bigger athletes as well, and they had to consume more calories. Obviously, sumo wrestlers are a prime example where they had to overconsume sometimes in, with a lot of calories. So just being a bigger athlete might contribute to this. They didn't talk about this directly, but if we talk about it with the longevity ones, the ones that live the longest, being pole vault gymnastics, they tend to be smaller athletes. Their big contribution to why athletes live a little bit longer is the type of sport that they play and what kind of constitutes and what energy systems and what is needed to perform these sports at a high level. So going back to the longest living athletes, again, I'll put the study in the link down below so you can check out where your athletic prowess lies to see how long you'll potentially live. Side note, I found that fencing was actually very high as well, and I have a good friend who's a fencing coach down in Los Angeles, and I sent it to him, and he was pretty excited. But going back to pole vaulting and gymnastics, we'll lump pole vaulting in with track and field because track and field was not much further behind. Now, the researchers kind of extrapolated or concluded that the results kind of came from these energy systems that were required for the sport were broader. So they weren't like a marathon runner who's running completely endurance, or they weren't a gridiron football player who was pretty much on the anaerobic spectrum. So sports like track and field and gymnastics require anaerobic, which is that explosiveness and strength-oriented kind of movement, with aerobic, which is the endurance portion. So if you think about a gymnast, they have to be explosive in some events, like the vault, where they got to sprint and jump. And then they have to have endurance too for longer routines, let's say a floor routine, or even holding in an isometric position. So they have to be well-rounded and well-trained. They also said that about the pole vaulters. They have to sprint, they have to jump, but they also have to, be repetitive with their movement. So they're saying by training this way, training multiple different ways and multiple kind of facets of your body, they're able to live a little bit longer. I also think too, like I said, those athletes tend to be a lot leaner, high muscle mass, low body fat. I think that contributes to it. They didn't touch upon that too much, but I'm going to generally say that's probably a component as well. So what does this mean for us? So we can take this information and kind of put this within our own training program. Now, if longevity is your goal, which for me now it's a little bit more in this realm too. I want to live a little bit longer, be a little bit healthier. I'm not competing in any specific type of sport, so I don't have to train specifically for anything anymore. I'm going to kind of go the longevity route. And I'm going to, try to balance my training out. So if you are a gym rat who likes to go to the gym and do body weight splits all the time, you might want to start adding some type of aerobic component to your training if longevity is something that you strive for. If you are a marathon runner or a big hiker or a long distance swimmer, you may want to start adding in a little bit more strength training or anaerobic training to your programs if you want to live longer. So the benefits of doing this are plentiful. The main thing is we can escape boredom. So if we've been training our whole lives, like I said, if you're not training for something specific, like you're not a, competitive swimmer or a competitive marathon runner, you can start to branch out. It's probably in your best interest to branch out and do other things. So again, you'll get some variety. So you haven't done something a long time, like weight training, getting back in the weight room. Yeah, it might be tough in the beginning, but you're getting that variety. You're getting the different brain stimulation. So it's just challenging you in many different ways again, and keeping your body going and progressing. Sometimes when we do our sports and we do it for a long period of time, our body's going to get very efficient at it, even though it might seem difficult. It's going to get efficient and then not work as hard, because we don't need to, stimulate our brains as much, because we kind of know we've been there a while. We don't have to be bad at something, so we have to learn a new skill. So going out and doing the opposite of what we've been doing for a long time will help us, kind of stimulate our brain, learn a new skill, and challenge us in ways we haven't challenged, which can help with longevity. Also, too, you don't have to overthink your training anymore. So you can literally, lick your thumb, stick it in the air, and be like, oh, today I want to do the weight room. So if it's raining outside, go into the weight room. If it's a nice day outside, go for a run, go for a hike. So these are things that way you don't have to really stress out and schedule your training out all the time. Lastly, now you don't have to stress about training. So let's say you go on vacation. Okay, that's great. I want to keep my training up, but I don't have a lot of equipment. The hotel gym's not that great. They probably have like one 8-pound dumbbell and one 10-pound dumbbell. Fine, you can go outside, or you can jump rope, or you can find a park and do calisthenics. Do something different to kind of always challenge yourself. But the goal is to keep going and find something you like to do. But now you don't have to stress about missing that gym workout or missing that Monday chest day. You are okay because you're going to work out, you're going to figure out what you want to do, and you're more flexible now, and potentially you'll live a little bit longer. Now, if you are going to add something completely new or something you haven't done in a long time, so let's say you haven't done weight training in a long time, make sure that you start easy. And if you haven't done it at all, get a trainer to help you out to make sure you don't hurt yourself. Remember, this is a long game, longevity. You're trying to live a long life. You do not have to win the first day out there. You can build up, and it's something you want to keep and grow with as you go along. Again, if you go with aerobic work, be progressive about it. Actually, the physical therapist here at the gym, I'm very proud of him, but he is a power lifter, and he, for a bachelor party, has to run a half marathon. So he's been programming his half marathon out, and he's doing it very systematically. I think he started with 1 mile, and then he started adding a little bit, and then he started wave loading it, much like a powerlifting type of program. So he used his powerlifting program kind of technique and prowess to extrapolate that out to an aerobic kind of activity that he doesn't really do, or he said he hasn't done in 15 years. If he were to just dive in and start running 5 miles in old shoes, he probably would have hurt himself. So I think he's doing pretty well. He has little aches and pains here and there. He's adjusting the volume slightly, but he's doing it progressively and doing it smartly, and he'll be successful. And who knows, if he keeps this up, he might just add a little bit of years to his life. So I want to thank you for watching or listening. You can hear this on the podcast, or you can watch us on YouTube. If you have any suggestions for future videos or future topics, put them down in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. I'm going to start doing a little bit more of these studies. It's kind of fun to read these again. I haven't done as much since grad school, but it's just kind of learn from these things and see what we can take out and apply to us and in real world simple training. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.